Alicia.
And I'm Jane.
This is Co.Act's first biology educational video.
In this video, we'll be going over the building blocks in the biology of organisms, and these building blocks are called macromolecules.
The definition of a macromolecule is a large molecule composed of many atoms. Macromolecules exist everywhere around us and make up a majority of organisms. They are important for life because they enable organisms to survive and function properly. In biology, there are four main macromolecules: carbohydrates, proteins, lipids, and nucleic acids. These four macromolecules are different in structure and functions, but they all work together to help all kinds of organisms thrive.
Okay, so carbohydrates are essential in organisms because they provide both plants and animals with energy. Now, how does this happen? Well, it starts with polysaccharides and monosaccharides that contain carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen atoms. Now, polysaccharides are called complex sugars because they're big chains that can be broken down, while monosaccharides are called simple sugars because they're the basic building blocks. Now, all polysaccharides that we eat, such as dairy, fruits, starchy vegetables, and grains, are broken down into glucose, which is a monosaccharide. Then that glucose is further broken down into energy that we can use every day, such as running.
Macromolecule, proteins. Protein is an important building block of bones, muscles, cartilage, skin, and blood. Protein is used to make enzymes, hormones, and body chemicals. It's even an essential part of the DNA that makes up our genes. Proteins consist of a combination of amino acids. Proteins differ in sequence and combination of amino acids, and the shape of the protein determines its function. One important type of protein is enzyme. Enzymes are catalysts of biochemical reactions, meaning that they speed up chemical reactions. They do this by either breaking down substances or building up molecules. Example, the enzyme in our saliva is called amylase, and it breaks down the carbohydrates that we eat into simple sugars so that our body can digest it faster. Because of this, the carbohydrates that we eat will start to taste sweet when we leave them in our mouths for a really long time.
Look at this potato chip. As the boy eats the potato chip, the amylase in his saliva slowly breaks it down into simple sugars, thus making it sweet. Therefore, in around 5 to 10 minutes, the potato chip that he ate is going to start tasting sweet. We have fats. Fats are large molecules made of two types of molecules, glycerol and fatty acid. The fatty acid has a long chain of carbon and hydrogen, usually referred to as a hydrocarbon tail, with a carboxyl group head. The most famous type of fat is called a triglyceride, the fat in our bodies and in vegetable oils. The fat in our body acts as a backup source of energy when carbohydrates are not available. Along with providing energy, fat absorbs fat-soluble nutrients such as vitamins. It's also part of the DNA structure in our genes, which we'll talk about later. Fat also maintains your core body temperature and keeping your body insulated with heat.
Keep in mind that there's two kinds of fats, saturated and unsaturated. Saturated fats include single bonds throughout the molecule. Saturated fats increase low-density lipoproteins, LDL or bad cholesterol, and rich in trans fatty acids, redefined carbohydrates such as white sugar and flour. It is most commonly found in butter, coconut oil, whole milk, peanut butter, margarine, cheese, vegetable oil, fried foods, and frozen dinners. In saturated fats, each carbon's valence shell is fully bonded to saturated with other carbon or hydrogen atoms. This also means that the carbon at the very end of the chain is bound to the carbon before it was all as 3, not 2 hydrogen atoms. While unsaturated fats include at least one double bond within the molecule. Unsaturated fats increase high-density lipoprotein, HDL or good cholesterol, and decrease low-density lipoproteins, LDL or bad cholesterol. Sources of HDL include onions and omega-3 fatty acids like flax oil, fish, foods rich in fiber like grains. They're often found in avocado, soybean oil, canola oil, olive oil, sunflower oil, fish oils, walnuts, flax, and red meats. An unsaturated fat chain contains at least one carbon pair that is double bonded, so it is connected to one less hydrogen than it typically would. This double bond creates a kink in the hydrocarbon chain due to the positioning of the carbon's electrons. A group of many unsaturated fats will be less dense because these kinks create space between the molecules, giving unsaturated fats a greater fluidity. This is why vegetable oils, which are primarily unsaturated fats, are liquid at room temperature, while meat fats, which are mostly saturated, are more solid.
And the last of the macromolecules is the nucleic acid. Nucleic acids allow organisms to transfer genetic information from one generation to the next. There are two types of nucleic acids, deoxyribonucleic acid, better known as DNA, and ribonucleic acid, better known as RNA. When a cell divides, its DNA is copied and passed from one cell generation to the next generation. DNA is organized into chromosomes and found within the nucleus of our cells. It contains the programmatic instructions for cellular activities. When organisms produce offspring, these instructions in the form of DNA are passed down. RNA is essential to the synthesis of proteins. It is also a component of cell organelles called ribosomes. Information contained within the genetic code is typically passed from the DNA to the RNA to the resulting proteins. Nucleic acids are composed of nucleotide monomers. Nucleotides contain three parts: a nitrogenous base, a 5-carbon sugar, and a phosphate group. DNA consists of the 4 nitrogenous bases: adenine A, guanine G, cytosine C, and thymine T. In double-stranded DNA, adenine pairs with thymine A and T, and guanine pairs with cytosine G and C. Single-stranded RNA contains the nitrogenous bases adenine, guanine, cytosine, and uracil instead of thymine. When DNA is transcribed into an RNA transcript during DNA transcription, guanine pairs with cytosine, GC, and adenine pairs with uracil, AU.
And there you have it, 4 macromolecules: carbohydrates, proteins, fats, and nucleic acids. They're all very crucial because without them, we couldn't go about living our everyday life.
Even though this is a ton of information given out all at once, these macromolecules form the basis of biology. In the later videos, we will build up from this topic and delve into more specific areas of biology.
Thanks for watching, and we hope you've learned a lot from this video.
Goodbye!